Today on Starfield Essentials, your weekly Starfield news report. To boldly go. More ships for everyday play. Big Watchtower patch drops. Starfield and TrueAchievements top 100 games of 2025. Did SAG-AFTRA strike delay DLC? Adoring Gungan. A brand new city. Abandoned UC radar station found. Bounties from the jump. Deleting a creation really works now. And not yet Watchtower and not yet Shattered Space. All stories have chapter markers for easy navigation and links in the description for sourcing. My name is Richard. Let's get started. To boldly go. I don't cover ship builds that often, but once in a while I see a ship that I just can't ignore. The USS Pathfinder by Sergeant Owl is one of those ships. OwlTech Pathfinder is available on Creations and Nexus Mods. Pathfinder was the name of a Starfleet project to communicate with USS Voyager when it was stranded in the Delta Quadrant. This Pathfinder build is incredibly creative. It's almost like a POI rather than a ship. It has 5 decks accessible by turbolift. The aesthetic is wonderful, and the ship contains all the bays that you might hope to see. Engineering, deflector control, torpedo rooms, medical, astrometrics, and so on, as seen in this chart. The feature of this ship that put it over the top for me was the holodeck. I thought, hey, this is clever. But Sergeant Owl has turned it into a destination unto itself. I used the range function to test my marksmanship against targets. Notice how the location warns the player that safety protocols are disabled. This means that opponents can cause damage, as was the case with the Star Trek holodeck when safety protocols were not working. Now, I'm not sure I would use this ship as a daily driver. I had a few problems with the ship not appearing at the Red Mile, for example. I was able to call it to land using the SKK Ship Management Tools mod. I also had some weird behavior in the elevator that I had to fix by using a console command. The ship is also way too powerful for balanced play. I wiped out all of the Crimson Fleet vessels surrounding the key, even with very hard settings for myself and opposing ships. When I was done playing with the ship, I sold it to a ship vendor. If I want to try it again, I will reinstall the mod and recover the ship from the Ophion system. And speaking of acquiring the ship, Sergeant Owl has put a lot of thought into this, and I applaud the effort. Thank you, Sergeant Owl, for this great new ship. And thank you, viewers! If you're enjoying this video, please consider subscribing. Less than a third of viewers seeing my videos are subscribers. If you want to tell the world and YouTube that you enjoy positive and honest Starfield content, subscribing is a great way to do that. Thank you. Next, more ships for everyday play. Speaking of ships, Downfall Nemesis has published a set of ships that I have added to my core mod set. As of the time of writing, this free mod provides 41 ships, with 15 by Downfall Nemesis and 26 by other shipbuilders. Community Spaceship Expansion is available on Creations and Nexus Mods. Why do I like these ships? First, they all use vanilla parts. You don't need to add any mods to get them to work in your game. In my experience, ship part mods tend to introduce problems, so I try to avoid them if possible. Second, all these ships are integrated into the core game systems. You will see all of the factions and parties listed in these screen captures using these ships. That means you've effectively got 41 new POIs to board when playing your normal game loop. Third, Downfall Nemesis just added Ship Vendor Framework support to the mod. Ship Vendor Framework is a wonderful mod by Rux616 that makes it possible for modders to integrate their ships into the game without adding yet another one-off kiosk or overriding key records. Ship Vendor Framework can be a requirement for Community Spaceship Expansion, and it's available on Creations and Nexus Mods. I used Ship Vendor Framework to add my own ships to the game when I built them in the Creation Kit, as shown in this video. I used 3 methods to find a few of these new ships in my game. First, I looked for mission board jobs that mentioned a new ship type. I found a Crimson Fleet Mania ship this way. This is the Crimson Fleet variant of the Wolverine ship by Hongoi, based on OwlTech parts. Second, while flying around the galaxy, I encountered a few of the ships by chance. Third, I visited the ship technician on Neon and found a variety of ships added to his inventory. This is exactly the sort of mod I love to see in Starfield. It adds content and variety to the game without making a radical change to the Starfield environment. If you'd like to submit a ship for consideration a future upgrade, visit the mod page at Nexus Mods and follow the instructions. I noticed that some players are reporting issues, but they seem to have a ton of mods installed and might have other ship conflicts. I run this mod on a save with a little over 100 mods, and so far it's working well for me. Great work, Downfall Nemesis, and shipbuilders. Next, big Watchtower patch drops. Bethesda published a big new patch for the Watchtower creation by Kingath Creations. Looking at the version history, the last version released to the public was 1.0.1 RC2. It looks like this new patch is the fourth version of the 1.0.2 code, helpfully number V4. I like this new numbering scheme. Here are the patch notes. I've linked them in the video description. One item that attracted some interest online is this entry. Added gameplay option called Ambush Chance. This setting controls the likelihood of Watchtower ambushes after the initial encounter. It sounds like very easy and easy drastically reduce the chances of being ambushed. I plan to update, but I have a lot of other Starfield content to play before I restart a Watchtower session. Let me know in a comment if this update addresses your concerns. Next, Starfield in TrueAchievements Top 100 Games of 2025. Xbox players have a major effect on Starfield, but it can be tough to get statistics on their influence. We hear from modders that they get 5 to 20 times as many downloads on creations versus Nexus Mods, with console being the majority of these downloads. The TrueAchievements website, which tracks Xbox play, published a list of the top 100 Xbox games so far in 2025. Let's look at the results. I have highlighted games that caught my attention. In the first set of 25, we see Oblivion Remastered at 6 and Indiana Jones and the Great Circle at 16. Let's remember that Indiana Jones number for a moment. In the second set of 25, we see Skyrim at 32, Cyberpunk 2077 at 34, and Baldur's Gate 3 at 49. In the third set, Fallout 4 is 63, No Man's Sky is 66, Fallout 76 is 68, and there's our boy Starfield at 73. Finally, here is the fourth and final set. I was surprised to not see Star Wars Outlaws listed at all in the top 100. No disrespect to people who like that game, but the non-appearance of that game is an example of being, quote, dead, in my opinion. Let's return to Indiana Jones at 16. Let's look at its Steam numbers. Oh, I know, Steam numbers. Less than 500 players in the last 24 hours. That game must be dead. No, it's just very popular on Xbox and not as popular on Steam. Let's compare Indiana Jones with Starfield on Steam. That blue line is Starfield. So the player base seems to be split more between console and PC for Starfield, although the game makes respectable showings on both charts. Notice the rise of Starfield that corresponds with the release of Watchtower by Kingath Creations. Let's throw Star Wars Outlaws into the chart to see how it compares. It's the orange line. Here's one other item to consider. Where is Elder Scrolls Online? Bethesda is celebrating 10 years of this property, with appearances at the Xbox Showcase and events all year. Yet it's nowhere to be found in the TrueAchievements list. Remember that Fallout 76 was number 68, so these MMO games do qualify, and ESO is on Xbox. If we add it to our Steam comparison chart, you see it as the white line. It's extremely strong. The bottom line for me is that no one should use a single set of statistics to determine whether a game is alive or dead. Combining sources is the best approach. I regularly report on mod counts and downloads for Starfield, for example. In just the last week, from 12th of June to the 19th of June, Starfield's download count on Nexus Mods rose by 1.4 million, from 85.3 to 86.7. The game it's chasing, Morrowind, rose by only 500,000, from 88.1 to 88.6. Starfield is set to overtake Morrowind in about 2 weeks if that rate of growth continues. That's the definition of a healthy game, in my opinion, with so many players downloading mods, and it totally ignores creations. Next, did SAG-AFTRA strike delay DLC? Emily O'Brien, voice actor for Sarah, is recording again. She had been unable to record for the last year due to the voice actors strike. Could this have delayed or at least impacted an upcoming Starfield DLC? Hopefully we will learn at some point. From an article about the strike by PocketGamer.biz, SAG-AFTRA's national board has approved a tentative deal with the Video Game Bargaining Group on a new interactive media agreement to end the voice actor strike, which will now go to members for ratification. Sarah was not a prominent character in the last DLC, Shattered Space, although she did have voice-acted lines. If the next DLC centers on the Starborn theme, I could see Sarah having another role in it. Some of you have speculated that the strike would not have affected the DLC, because voice acting is usually done near the end of production. However, a strike-induced delay could have explained why there is still no trailer for the second DLC. If Sarah is expected to have new lines in the trailer, then Emily needs to record them. Of course, if the DLC is intended for a release in October or possibly late September, then the strike may not have had any effect. As you saw in the screen capture from Instagram, several of us want to know if Emily was recording for Starfield. If I hear anything, I will be sure to report it here. Next, Adoring Gungan. I'll be honest, I've never played with the Adoring Fan as a companion. This mod by RadicCloud might change that. Adoring Gungan is available on Creations and Nexus Mods. This mod replaces the Adoring Fan with a Jar Jar skin.
Captain of the frontier, bane of the fleet, constellation's shining star of stars.
Yeah, get away from me, you weirdo.
Oh, you must have me confused with someone who isn't your #1 fan.
I thank to RadicCloud for bringing Adoring Gungan to the game. I'm not sure if I'm going to play with them, but it's quite an accomplishment. Next, a brand new city. Let's leave that Gungan behind and visit a whole new city. This is an amazing accomplishment from modder Richard's Galaxy, and that's Galaxy with an E at the end. No, this is not me, and this mod is incredible. Valoria City is available on Creations. You will find the city on Tau Ceti 2. There is so much to see here. It's still a work in progress because the vendors are not yet functional. However, there's a surprising mix of creativity and level design. Keep your eyes open for what looks like a prison or temporary holding area, complete with unfortunate people sitting near trash bags. I really recommend checking this out, and I do not want to spoil it for you. Let me know what you think about this mod in a comment. Next, Abandoned UC Radar Station found. I mentioned the Abandoned UC Radar Station POI by HoltStam in my last video. This new POI is available on Creations and Nexus Mods. Told you if I found it, I would show it. Well, it appeared as a random POI in my gameplay, so here it is. It's a pretty simple place, but it has a few secrets in the form of mysterious slates. And I always applaud modders who add new locations to the game. Next, Bounties from the Jump. I wish I could find the original, but I read a comment online in the last week that claimed you couldn't do random bounty missions in a city without joining the Trackers Alliance, or at least having the bounty hunter background. That sounded wrong to me, but I realized I always create characters with the bounty hunter background. So while I was testing the Adoring Gungan mod, I created a brand new character with the SKK Fast Start mod, and used the soldier background. This mod effectively completes the first main quest mission for you, but otherwise you have no accomplishments whatsoever. And sure enough, walking around New Atlantis, I found 2 random red bounties. I was able to claim both of them. I had not even encountered the Trackers Alliance agent yet. So yes, you can get bounties right away as a level 1 character with no special background. Next, deleting a creation really works now. A few weeks ago, I posted to my YouTube page that I noticed that deleting a creation from the game only removed the ESM and not any BA2 archives. Here is a before and after example for the Watchtower creation. I speculated that this could cause troubles for console players especially, as they had no easy way to notice this, and removing these extra files would require clearing out game files and other steps that just seemed onerous to me. Sometime in the last 2 weeks, Bethesda or Microsoft altered the way this works, at least on my Xbox for PC installation on Windows 11. Here's a new installation of Watchtower. When I deleted from Creations, all 3 of the associated files, 1 ESM and 2 BA2 archives, are now gone. This should improve the game management experience for all players using the Creation system, especially if it applies to console players as well. And last, not yet Watchtower and not yet Shattered Space. If you would like to delay the start of the 2 biggest additions to Starfield, modder Paul Brock has you covered. Not Yet Watchtower is available only on Creations, due to the Nexus Mods policy on patches for paid mods. Not Yet Shattered Space is available on Creations and Nexus Mods, because the patch for paid mods policy doesn't apply to paid DLCs. If that makes sense to you, more power to you. And honestly, I wonder if this is going to change with the Nexus Mods acquisition. Thank you, Paul, for giving us control over when this content becomes active. And thank you to all my subscribers. Please consider subscribing to show YouTube that you enjoy positive and honest Starfield content. Special thanks to all channel members. I hope you are enjoying our private Discord server. If you'd like to know more about membership, click the join button on the channel. There is no obligation. Anything you and YouTube gives me goes back to this channel, whether it's to buy hard drives for capturing footage or acquiring creations to review. What have you been doing in Starfield? Your insights make this channel a place for positive and honest discussion of the game. In addition to videos, I also post to the community tab for this channel on a daily basis. If you subscribe, you will see these posts in your YouTube feed. If you made it to this part of the video, please leave a comment with the phrase, "Risk is our business." Or just say 7. Either one is fine. Also, remember to ring the bell icon and select all notifications. Check out my other videos, and please tell your friends about the channel. And leave a comment if you want to know when I met 7 of 9 in real life. My name is Richard. I will see you in the Starfield.